Hi everyone, this is Dylan again from Dylan's Reptile Time. Hope you're doing okay. So today we're going to have a look at habitats. It's not going to be about my back garden though, don't worry. So I thought we'd do a couple of videos on habitats. Now a habitat is basically a place where an animal would live. So you've got like meadows, mountains, like deserts, jungles, in the ocean. So it's pretty much anywhere where an animal would call it its home. And we're going to start with rainforests. Now rainforests are huge jungles found across the world along the equator, like the middle of the earth. So you've got like the Congo in Africa, big jungle. You've got places in Indonesia, Australia, and the most famous one, probably the Amazon rainforest. That's the world's largest jungle. And all these places are really warm and really rainy. So it's hence why it's called a rainforest. And it's a really good place, all that rain and warmth, it's a really good place for animals and plants to live, and you find them in abundance. And so where there's lots of plants, there's probably going to be lots of animals. So there's lots of places where the animals can hide, there's lots of food for the animals, and there's lots of prey for predators to eat as well. So there's loads of animals, and more than half of the world's animals, species and plant species are found in rainforests. And you've got millions of different species and tons of different reptiles and amphibians. And because it's so big, it's like broken up into 4 layers. So at the very bottom, you've got the forest floor, and then moving up through the forest, you've got the understory layer, and further still, you've got the canopy layer, and right at the top of the trees, you've got the emergent layer. And animals are found throughout all these layers. So we're going to start and have a look at the emergent layer. So imagine you've just parachuted into the rainforest. So you're starting at the emergent layer. So you've just parachuted into the emergent layer, and these are the tallest trees in the forest. They can get up to 250 feet high. They're huge. And there's a lot of animals that live here, like sloths, monkeys like the squirrel monkey and the spider monkey. They both live in this layer. Sloths are very slow, hardly move at all, whereas the monkeys just zip around the tops of the trees really fast. And you've also got lots of birds. So you've got brightly coloured macaws, which are like parrots, a member of the parrot family. They nest in holes at the top of the trees, high in the emergent layer, and eat a variety of like nuts, seeds, fruits and insects. Other animals that you might find here are bats, snakes, other reptiles, butterflies, various insects. And you've also got a huge bird of prey called the harpy eagle. And that actually eats monkeys. It's massive. So watch out, spider monkey and squirrel monkey. So you've just floated down on your parachute, and now you're in the canopy layer. Now in the canopy layer, there's lots of dense branches and leaves. And most of the animals that you find, animals and plants that you find in the rainforest, are actually found in this layer, in the canopy layer, including lots of tree frogs. So this is a tree frog. Now this is a European tree frog found throughout much of Europe, but it's very typical of the tree frogs you might find in the rainforest. It's got this nice green colour that help it blend in with the plants and leaves of the trees. They do come in all different colours as well, the tree frogs there. You might recognise the red-eyed tree frog in pictures. Got these big, beautiful red eyes that help it see in the dark. And like all tree frogs, they've got these sticky toes, and they've got powerful back legs as well. So when they're in danger, they can leap from one tree to another tree and then just hang on to the leaf with their sticky pads on their toes. And tree frogs are actually millions of years old. So people have found fossil records of tree frogs going back millions of years. Now, in the rainforest, tree frogs like the red-eyed tree frog, they would lay their jelly-like eggs on a plant, on a leaf, over water usually. So when they hatch out into tadpoles, they drop off into the water and swim off. Some also lay their jelly eggs in the frog spawn in plants. So some plants gather water, like little pockets of water, and they lay their eggs in there so that they can hatch out, and off they go. Right, so that was the tree frog. Let's have a look at some other animals we might find in the canopy layer. So food is very plentiful in this layer, and lots of animals live here, such as monkeys. You've got big apes like orangutans as well. You've got snakes, obviously tree frogs that we've seen. You've got toucans, which eat the fruit and seeds from the trees. You've got big lizards like iguanas that eat the fruit as well. And animals in the canopy layer, they often need to fly or jump, glide maybe around the gaps in the trees. And you've even got a snake that can actually glide, called the flying snake, can jump from tree to tree to escape danger or to catch its food. And because of the compact nature of the leaves and the branches of the flora in the canopy layer, it makes seeing more than a few feet away very difficult. So a lot of animals communicate by kind of song and calling to each other. So you've got the howler monkey there, which calls out across the canopy layer to other monkeys. So it's very noisy in this layer, like a real mixture of sounds. So as you drift further down into the forest, you now get to the understory layer. Now this is pretty dark in this layer because not much light is coming through the emergent layer and the canopy layer. So it's quite darker than the other layers that we've seen. But it's very hot, very humid, so it's perfect for amphibians such as tree frogs like we've just seen. And it's also very good for reptiles and snakes such as the boa constrictor. So one of the many snakes that you might find in the understory layer is the boa constrictor. Now we've seen this guy before. So younger boa constrictors, they're more arboreal, which means they like to climb more. So you'll find them in the understory layer, and they can even climb up to the canopy layer as well. Larger boas, like adult boas, during the day they'll go down to the forest floor and sleep in animal burrows, things like that. And then at night time they'll come out, move up to the understory layer and just lie in wait for animals to walk past or fly past, and then they can grab them. And as we know, they constrict, so they'll wrap their body around the animal really tightly, squeeze all the air out and swallow it whole. And their main predators in the rainforest would probably be a jaguar, something like that, or a caiman, big crocodile. So that was the boa constrictor, one of the main snakes that you might find in the understory layer of the Amazon rainforest. So let's have a look at some of the other animals we might find in the understory layer. So countless insects can also be found in the understory layer, including like bees, stick insects, bullet ants, beetles, butterflies. Many of those insects are preyed upon by numerous like birds and lizards like geckos and monitors. And as well, you can find like bats, monkeys, and also you can find the jaguar. So that spends a lot of its time on the forest floor, but it can venture up into the understory layer and then jump down on its prey on the forest floor. So as we drift down further, congratulations, we've made it to the forest floor. And it's very dark down here, so hardly any light at all makes it down to the forest floor. And animals that live on the forest floor, they're some of the biggest or the largest that you'd find in the rainforest. So you've got a mix of both big carnivores and herbivores, like big cats like tigers and jaguars, as well as elephants, tapirs, okapis, gorillas, and you've got big flightless birds called cassowaries, which are found in Australian rainforests. And you've also got a wide range of reptiles, amphibians, and a lot of insect life that live on the forest floor. Now, I must point out, all these animals, they're found in rainforests all around the world. They're not necessarily found in the same rainforest. So you wouldn't find a jaguar with a tiger, because the jaguar's from South America and the tiger's from Asia. So yeah, this is just an example of all the different animals that you'd find on the different layers of the rainforest. So all this variety of life means there's what's called a lot of food chains going on. So you'd start, say, on the forest floor. You've got insects like cockroaches, beetles, millipedes. They eat all the rotten fruit and leaves that have fallen onto the forest floor. And those insects, they're eaten by things like spiders and forest scorpions like this, which are found in the rainforest. And they eat quite a lot of insects, obviously. And then they would in turn get eaten by birds, mammals, and even lizards, which eat a lot of insects and arachnids. But then those lizards, birds, and mammals that eat the scorpions, they would get eaten by, for example, snakes, like the boa constrictor. And then boa constrictors and other snakes, they'd probably be eaten by large cats like the jaguar, or big crocodiles like the caiman. And that would be like the end of the food chain pretty much. So as you can see, it goes from little insects all the way up to big animals like jaguars and crocodiles. So that was just one of the food chains that you might see going on in the rainforest. Now, unfortunately, a lot of rainforests around the world are being destroyed at quite an alarming rate, and it's a lot of deforestation going on, and it's really important that we save these habitats. Obviously, a lot of animals' homes are being destroyed species going extinct, so it's really important that we save them. And what you could do to help in your school, when you go back to school, you could do a fundraiser maybe to raise money for companies that help save the rainforest. That's a good idea, might be fun to do, and you'll be saving the world as well. Right, so I hope you enjoyed that, and we'll be back soon with another habitat to show you. Cheers, bye.